Thank you, thank you. Jack Fitzgerald wants to bring us a word from Tucson. He is out of work and he's here with us from Tucson.
Thank you. I'm out of work only because my very best friend, and we used to be in business together many years ago, died last September, and so I got laid off. Being a young fellow, though, like I am, I go into like the Home Depot and ask for a job, and they say, "How old are you?" And I say, 42. And they frown on me. Anyway, I've never been unemployed. I've owned over 10 businesses, small business in my life, mostly in the Tucson area. And I love the free enterprise system, what it gave me. The free enterprise system gave me the ability to go out with a desire and a dream and make $1 million or go broke. I've done both. But I love this country, and I love what it gave to me, and I've seen the frustration several years ago, and I got involved, and I started a writing campaign with the people on the party, but a lot of people just, it's a little rough. Well, I felt it was coming rough, and come last November, I watched what was happening all over the country, and I predicted we were going to lose. And we were going to lose because the majority of us were not paying attention to what was going on. So I decided to come up here today, and I want to talk to you people because this whole movement is great, but we need leadership, and I need a job. So here's what I wrote. Tucson Timeline, October 15, 2011. Let's roll, pay attention, and wake the F up. My old Italian buddy told me many years ago when discussing politics, "Hey Fitzy, pay attention." A day that will live in infamy, December 7, 1941, was FDR. The second day of infamy was a tragedy in Tucson, a day the whole world should never forget. Perhaps as it woke America up to what hate can do, and many people my age, 76, and Christina, 9 years old, were murdered, just waiting to see a 40-year-old congresswoman doing her Congress on the corner. And I knew Gabby very well, and she's still coming around, but she's a great friend of mine, and I worked on her campaign. I got to put my glasses on because when you get to be my age, sometimes you need some readers. Masters of hate Fox News, calling themselves Great Americans, and immediately sent their guerrillas to Tucson to vilify our sheriff for honestly calling out hate speech for what it was. This past week, referring our president to Hitler on Fox News, first Hank Williams Jr., whose dad would turn over in his grave if he heard such talk, and then the great American Sean Hannity has him on his show again this week, continuing the vitriol. Then alongside Marine Ollie North and convicted felon, don't forget that under Reagan, more hate and clapping from his audience from the Fox 15th anniversary party. Sean's guest was Neil Burtz, another one of the talkers. And he called our president the worst disaster since 9/11. I would have thought a great American the likes of Hannity or North would have reached over and punched him. But instead they thought it funny and the audience clapped. Pay attention. I don't know about you, but them's fighting words, and being in business all my life, it's time we fought back. Good guys come in dead last, and I see it, this upcoming election is stacked against us, the 99%. Because we were asleep during the last election, November 10th, our voting rights were being challenged. Unions, which gave us part of the New Deal, and now this week a tearing down of the U.S. postal system. And don't forget our friendly oil companies who are just making a fair return of investment for Fox Saturday Morning News every Saturday. Pay 10. The only thing with the oil companies that bothers me the most, and why people should really get upset, that oil is ours. It belongs to all of us. They merely have the refining rights. Yet we're not asking for, where's our profit? Where's our share of that? They're taking something that belongs to all Americans. If they had the sun, they'd try to own that too. But do not forget our Supreme Court, who gave us George Bush and selected him, even though they lost by over 600,000 votes. Pay attention. And it was our own Republican, Sandra Day O'Connor, who was the tipping point. And Arizona's got enough problems. I'm getting to that. Also, just rule, Exxon and all corporations are people, as Romney expounds, on an as a multi-millionaire, he can feel our pain. Really? The last election was a wake-up call, and we all got what we deserved because we weren't paying pinch. Over 235 years ago, we were given the greatest gift of all time, the Constitution, and with it, the only requirement was our vigilance, which we sadly neglected, and now the results are before us in this upcoming election. If we lose, those are democracy, and we become like Phoenix is today under McCain and his twin Kyle, a fascist state. Those two gave us the 3 P's of government: Palin, a plumber, and poverty. We're number 2 next to Mississippi. Our legislature is already taken over in fascists and the very militant like their Sheriff Joe and legislator Pierce, who influences the government and appears only on Fox, the guardian of the henhouse. Great, say Fox, the henhouse. Wake up, America. If you think greed is great, keep doing what you're doing, and we'll keep getting what you're getting. I do know how to lead a crowd dedicated to freedom and liberty and take this government back from the evildoers about to snatch the last vestiges of freedom away from the greatest government ever given by FDR and the New Deal, and that's where the focus begins. Arizona, as it stands, is a lost cause, and it's basically a fascist state beholden only to their corporate base. And a short while back, the Republicans on a partisan vote turned down help for the 99ers, people whose unemployment ran out. And part of the stimulus was to help these people who had no more income, all at no cost to Arizonans, and was a freebie for the state and would have immediately helped the Arizona tax base. This past week, McCain and the entire Republican senators voted against we the masses on the job issue. Yet this is what they ran on back in November 2010. Remember, jobs, jobs, jobs. Yet it was to fund another war. Yes, if it was to fund another war, even Bill Kristol of the Weekly Standard and his PNAC buddies, including Rupert Murdoch, who funded it into the Iraq War, would probably get a Woody. They would be so happy. I wonder if Sheriff Joe saw him, Rupert Murdoch, on the street when he asked him for his papers. He is, after all, our most recent immigrant, I think the mid-'80s. Last election should be wake up enough, and I would like this headquarters to start at the scene of the tragedy and let Americans know that when our freedoms are at stake, it is our fault.
Don't stop, brother, don't stop.
Corporate America run amok is no accident. It's a deliberate effort to turn total power over to the wealthiest 1%, and then we become a dictatorship. Would any of them here in this hall ever believe that this could happen in our country?
No.
It's happening right now.
No, not in America.
Past week, jobs vote taken, Senator Republicans unanimously voted against us, the 99%ers, on putting America back to work. And they are united against the masses and have signed pledges to prove their hatred for us, the masses.
What's he talking about, Wall Street?
As Roosevelt said then, he welcomed their hatred for him. And to his credit, he gave us, through his New Deal, the greatest middle class the free world has ever known. Almost 70 years ago, he was having the same problems from the same people we're having today, and it would be a miscarriage of justice if we do not reject the very people hijacking our freedoms today.
You don't fight America.
I personally carry his message as a badge of honor and a call to wake people up as our democracy and freedoms are at stake. And if we lose, corporate dictatorship will, and I for one, want to show the world what true democracy and freedom is all about. It's about us waking up to greed and destroying it once and for all through our election process and keeping vigilante of our freedoms. Vigilance is the issue. Reagan said the problem with government is the government. No, Mr. Reagan. The problem with government is when it's against greed. And we the people allow it to happen. It's our fault because the masses are at fault for not paying attention to what the miracle 235 years ago willed to us, a free people. We took it for granted and complacency took over. We the people must look in the mirror and pay attention and get behind our coach Obama. They may have the money and organization, but they don't have us. And if we now come together, students, young Republicans, Democrats, Independents, I don't care what you are, we can mobilize and turn greed away. It's up to us. So let's roll.
You can't.
Pay attention. and kick ass and get behind our coach Obama and complete what he started over 2 years ago and show what real representative government is all about. I just got a couple more I want to read to you. I have been brought up as a Depression baby and love the greatest nation on earth because of our strong middle class, but I fear the best may be behind us. And if so, it's because bad things happen when good people fail to get involved.
I agree with that.
Remember Democratic Senators Chester and Ben Nelson, two Democrats, and our senators in Arizona who always vote against the masses, just did this week, and next election for us is payback time. Pay Penge, and the next election sees as we are about to kick ass, take names, and that's the spirit that was given to us over 235 years ago. Freedom is everyone's job. United, we have all come together in this republic, a state in which sovereign power is invested in representation, chosen by the people to govern, and government is the people, and it's from the people to the leaders, not from the leaders to the people. Liberty is freedom, the right of power to live one's life without threat, fear, or retaliation, and justice, the principle of dealing fairly with the electorate. And I thank you.
Never forgive.